In this video, I'll be talking about entity view object within Power Pages Liquid. Now, how do we render the content of a view within your Power Pages site and operate on that data? Now, to start with, what is a view? So, take for example, you have a table. Okay, so you have a table. Say I have a table called as contact. Now, the contact table has multiple views in it. Okay, now let me show you in action over here. So, to take for example, this is a contact table. Now, I have different views like active contacts, all contacts, or I have inactive contacts. So all these views are currently present. Now, if you see active contacts, it has some columns. So first name, last name, full name, address, one city. Now, if I want, I can add multiple columns over here. I can remove the column from here. But the goal over here is to basically to how do we operate on the data. Now, this particular view has 298 records, but just for the sake of this example, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick say first 10 records or so and then try to operate on it. So the use case can be like if I want to see only the user belonging to city Mumbai or Chengdu, okay, it will give me that record. Or if I want to see sort by the first name, or if I want to just show first five record, or maybe I just want to show batches of three or batches of four. Yes, I can do all this operations in Power Pages. But the first and foremost thing is to load this view. Okay, now how do we load this view in Power Pages? So it's pretty simple. We will be using that tag. So I'm in the Power Pages Design Studio. I've created this page, Jan 2025. It has just this text in it. And if you see the preview, this is how this page will look like. Okay, so in order to write a liquid code, I will go into the code section. I will just say edit code, and then this will take me to the backend interface, which is basically a Visual Studio Code on the web. Now here, first thing I need to load the view. Okay, now how do I load the view? So loading the view is let me just minimize this. Yeah, okay. So how do we load that view? So first thing what we need to do is make use of that liquid syntax. Okay, so I'll just say percent, and here I will use a syntax entity view. So if I just type in entity view, and then I need to specify some view or view name. Okay, so for my case, I would just call it as my view, or you can call it as Girish view or contact view or something. It's just like some name. And entity view name, and then I'm going to make use of logical name. Okay, so if you do not know logical name is basically like a name for a specific column or a table. Okay, in this case it's a table. So the logical name of what you want to show. Okay, so I want to show some table. Okay, so what is that table? And then you can also specify what is the view's name. Okay, so the view's name is name colon and then the view's name. Now let's find this out. Okay, logical name for what? So this is contacts, right? So if I go into a contact table, now how do you go into the contact table? You just go into the left side table, and then here you can just type in contact, and then you will get contact table over here. Now the contact table, if I go into the properties and if I find the logical name for that contact table, here you will see under advanced option, the logical name is contact. So we found the contact name. Okay, so logical name is contact. So that's good. So we have got this table name. Now then what we do is we will find out the view. Okay, so views. Now there are so many views over here. So I'll just pick up the one view which is famous, which is active contacts. Okay, now if I click on active contacts, it will take me to the active contacts view, and this is how I can add or remove the record. Okay, now I know the name active space contact, so I'll just type in active space contacts. So this is how you first reference. Now my view object, basically the variable which you have created, now this will store all the value. Now going forward, you will just operate on this particular object. Now okay, my view. So how do we, what all actions we can do from here? So first thing, if I want to show how many records this view contains, so I will write a some bit of HTML. Okay, so let me write say the total record count is. Okay, so this is a simple HTML. Now, okay, what is a record count? So here I will make use of that particular variable. So the variable is my view, and there is a property which is called as total underscore records. So now once we get the total record count, what I need to do is like, this is like kind of a statement, right? Entity view. Now I need to close that entity view as well. Okay, so there is a syntax. It says end entity view percent, and this is how basically the entire code will look like. So end entity view is important to, it's kind of a block, this is the entire block, and then you write some code within this particular block. So here in this case we are just finding out what is the total record count, right? So let me go ahead here and let me sync it. Now, if you see over here, the for active contacts, there are 298 records. Okay, so if you have a different view, say inactive contacts, then you will find three record. Okay, so what we are doing, we are trying to get how many record exists for that specific view. Let me see, overwrite. I think it's not synced correctly, so let me sync it correctly now. And then once it is synced, I'll try to refresh the content. Yeah, so as you see over here, it has given me the value. The total record count is 298. So first what we do is like we load the view. So basically this is all about initializing the variable, and then you can operate on the record. Now what are the other things which you can operate on? So I can even get the page size. Okay, the page size. So the page size is basically, it will, if you display that record in a grid, it will show you in a batch of x value. So usually the page size is say 10. Okay, now you can make use of that object. So my view dot page underscore size. So this is how you can get the page size. So I'll just save this and sync. So it should technically give me the page size as 10. So as you see over here, so there are like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So here it's like, it's like kind of an on demand load. So if you just scroll, so this is like that infinite scrolling. But when you render this content in a grid, you do not want to show all those 298 record at once, and that's why you specify the page size. So if you have a paging over here, then you can navigate through that paging by first to last, or you will see that numbering 1 to whatever is the value. And then as you see over here, the output is the page size is 10, and these are the output you can generate from it. Now, what if I want to actually see the record? Okay, so how do I go about that? So then again, it's a simple thing. So let me just format this correctly over here. So this is, so let me put this, get some space over here. So let me put a horizontal rule just to give that demarcation. And then I will put some horizontal rule beneath as well. Okay, so we're going to write a piece of code over here. Now, okay, so first horizontal tool over here. So if I want to do a select operation, now how do I do the select operation? So make use of that object. So my view dot records. Okay, so my view dot records will give you the entire record. And now what do you want to select? So if I want to just find out which city does this particular uh, user or the contact belongs to, I can specify the logical name of the city. Okay, now here if you see, I have specified this my view dot record and then select. Okay, so it will give me the city list. Now remember, this will be done at a batch level or the page size level. So the page size is 10, so it will operate on that 10 record, because we do not want to show all the 298 records within the screen. So if I want to see the city, so this city, what is the logical name for the city? So if I go into the contact column, and if I just type in the city column name, so which is address one city, Now here, if I go address one underscore city, if you see the logical name is address one underscore city. I'll copy this logical name and I'll just say my view dot record select address one city. Now this will give you a whole bunch of information. So if you want to format it, then you need to say put some further uh, filtering to it. But let me show you what I meant. So I just save this record, and once I save, I'll just sync this. Okay, so what it will do, it will try to find out. Basically, it will only give you the city name of that specific first 10 records. Now, what are the first 10 record? So let me scroll up and show it to you. So these are the list of city: Mumbai, Chengdu, Sydney. It will give you all this list of city over here. So as you see over here, the output is Mumbai, Chengdu, Mumbai, and Mumbai, Mumbai. Okay. Now, this is not formatted, right? So what if I want to format this? So yes, you can use the filter for the filtering, and you just use this operator, join operator, and you say, I want to um, put like spaces. Okay. So I put a comma and then I put a space, and then this is how I can join this records. Okay. And then it will be nicely formatted once it is synced. So that's about selection. Okay, so let this load, and I'll show you the output in a while. But moving on to the next part, it's all about batches. So if I want to show the batches? Okay, so if I want to show in a batched fashion, so I want to show three records batch. Okay, I can go ahead and do that. But before than that, you need to first assign the batch variable. So I'll just say assign batches. Okay, so it's so batches equal to, and then we say my view dot records. So my view dot records, and if I want to specify what should be the batch number, so I'll say it should be in a batch of 4. Okay, so this is how you basically set the batches. So let me see the output, what it has generated. So as you see over here, it is nicely formatted by comma. That looks good. Okay, let me focus on this part. So assign batches, so we said that we want to show the record in a batches, and we need to write a for loop for that, right? Because now in a batch, I want to first set the batch name. So I'll say for batch in batches. Okay, so once you get that batches loop, I can put it in a list, unordered list. So this is an unordered list, and I can again specify the for loop, because in a batch you will have a record, right? So for that, percent and for, now we'll take batch into reference, right? So for item in a batch, for the item in a batch, what do you want to show? Okay, so I want to show it in a list item. Okay, so it's in a list item, and I want to know item dot, say, first name. Okay, and a combination, basically item dot first name, and then I will just say plus. Okay, and say item dot address one underscore city. Okay, so that's the logical name which we see. So I want the first name, and then some symbol. Maybe let's me put some symbol. Let's see if I can put some emojis over here. Yes, I'll just do a star. Okay, and this is how it will show me that record. And remember, we have used for loop, right? So we need to close that for loop. So plus and for percentage. So we have closed this for loop, and remember, we need to close another for loop which is below over here. So let me put this over here. So this for loop is closed, this for loop is closed. So what we are doing, we are first creating a batch of the records, and we are telling that we just want 4 batch records, and then we are iterating through the batch one item at a time. And then within a batch, I want to specify first name and then address city. I can put anything, I can put last name, full name, whatever is there. But remember, whatever is there in the column, you need to specify that. Okay, so let's save this and see what is the output. And let me show you it in preview. Oh, it has not given as error properly. Person was not properly terminated. Now, why it has come is, let's see. So we have this for batch in batches. So that's good. Now, if you see assign is not properly terminated, right? So you need to properly do that. And once you do that, then only you should be able to see the output. Okay. Else it will give you, else it will complain that the tag was not properly closed. So yes, working on liquid is a bit hectic, because if you start making that syntax related error, then it will take a long time for you to understand what the issue was. But there are some user friendly messages which gets shown in the Power Pages Design Studio, so that you can troubleshoot your code. And now it says unknown tag end for. Okay, now why this has come? So as you see over here, we have closed this end for tag, and I made a mistake, like I didn't put a space. Okay, so let me put a space over here, and now I'll just save this. Okay, so I'll just say overwrite and sync. Okay, so as you see in this example, it will not give you that error at once. It will give you first error, then once you fix it, then you can go into the second error. So I made this error purposefully, just to because in your day-to-day liquid coding you may encounter such things. Okay, so now whenever you are writing end for, make sure that you put a space around. Whenever you're adding an assign tag, make sure that the tag is closed completely. So if you do all this thing, then your code should work perfectly fine. Let's see if there are any other errors within this particular liquid code. So this was the previous error, and we have resolved it, I believe. And now, so it's end for batch in batches, for item in batch, item dot first name, item dot address underscore city. Okay, so now as you see over here, we have closed this end for, but then this syntax is not correct. So you have an unordered list, you have a for item, you have a list over here, and you have made use of list item, and now you need to close that list item. So we have closed this list item, so li, we have this end for, and now make sure that you use an unordered list over here, right? So this is how the unordered list will get closed. And then I'll just close this over here, and then we have an end for. So we have two fors, and two fors are getting closed over here. So this is the first for loop, this is the second for loop, this is that item, this is end for. And if you want to format this document, you can go ahead and format this document, so that if there are any obvious syntax related issue, it will be sorted out. So as you see the list over here, now it is completely formatted. So it has given you batches of 4, but remember we have the page size as 10, and that's why it has given us two outputs. So batch size of 4, batch size of 4, and batch size of 2. So that means it has displayed those 10 record. So what we have seen the total record count, we have seen the page size, and now we have combined the first name and the city over here, right? So this is how basically you can do those operations, okay, within the liquid code. Now, next part, we are going to talk about the except and the concat. So except, let's look into the except. Now, what is except? Except is basically if you want to show the record except for something. So how do we write that? So this is how you write the syntax. So let's say if I want to see, I want to show all the record, but then I don't want to show the city Chengdu. So this is my variable, assign Chengdu equal to my view dot records. Okay, and I will say pipe and then say except. I don't want the record to be shown for address one underscore city colon comma Chengdu. I can even write Mumbai or Brisbane or Sydney, but then in case in this example is Chengdu. Okay, and then how do we display that content? Our friend for loop. So we'll use for. So let me just use for. Remember, we need to put a space, and I will take this for and I'll paste it over here, and this is end for. Now for what are we iterating? So we are iterating item in say Chengdu. This is just our variable, okay, for item in Chengdu. And then what are we displaying? We are displaying item dot full name, okay, full name of the person. And if you want to make put emojis or whatever, you can put it. So let me put this emoji so that there is some separation. Okay, so what we are doing over here, we are showing the record only for which the city does not is not Chengdu. Now in this case over here, so as you see over here, this record should not come up. So who's this person? Alisa, Alex, and Agna shouldn't be coming in the output. Okay, because we have said except. So let's save this. Hope the syntax is correct this time. So for loop and for assign, closing of assign, everything is done correctly. Let me sync it. So out of this 10 record, I told you that this for which the city belongs to Chengdu, Agna, Alika, Alex should not be there in the output. So let me even see the preview on the website as well. Okay, so as you see over here, we have got these many record. Now as you see, Addy is there. We do not have Agna because Agna belongs to Chengdu, so that record is gone. And do we have Alika and Alex? No. And that's how you use basically the except operator. Uh, then the last topic for the day, I would show you the concat operator. Okay, so let's assume we have this group. Okay, so let me use an assign tag and group one. Okay, so group one equal to, so I'll make use of country, IND, USA, UK, Australia. Okay, so this is say group one. And similarly I have group two. So this is group two, and this is Bahrain, UAE, uh, Canada, and Ukraine. And this is my group. Okay, now what if I want to concat? If I just type in say group one, this will show me the group one value. Okay, so this is group one, so let me show it in h1. Okay, so this is group one. Then if I want to show group two, I can show that in group two. And if I want to see the output, like say concatenate group one with group two, how do I do that? I will just say group one and then a pipe and then concat, and I'll say group two. Okay, so this is how you concat group one, group two. So the first output should be group one, which is IND, USA, UK, OS, or in the group two I have this, and then the next one is combination of group one and group two. So let's save this and sync. So as you see, the group one is here, group two is here, and this is like a concatenation. Now remember, like in the concatenation, it won't add any space, so you have to take care of that space within your code. So once you concat, make sure that like all the spaces and all are taken care of while formatting this information. So to start with, what we have done, we have seen entity view. So entity view basically allows you to load the view, And then once that view is loaded, we have operated on the number of count of the record count of that particular view. We have operated on the page size, page view, and then we displayed the value of the city for the record. We have made use of batch to batch it up for 4 batches. So as you have 10 records, it has batched in the fashion of 4, 4, and 2. And we have used an except tag. We do not want to show the user belonging to the Chengdu city, and that's why it has given us this output. And lastly, we have used of group. So this is group 1, group 2, and we have concatenated group 1 and group 2. So that's it, folks. This is how you basically use the array object within Power Pages Liquid. I have a couple of more series on array object which I will be recording shortly. Thanks for watching.